So as of right now, I'd like to consider myself as a hardworking young man. Personally, as an opinion of my own self, I think that I work harder than most people my age. And ego was always a part of myself, and ego is always there inside of me, telling me that I can do whatever I want, and that I can achieve everything that I want. And I always think of myself as a perfectionist, and that I can be good at everything that my hand touches. But lately, I have an idea of myself that maybe I am not as good as I think I am. So back in early high school, I started training and I started getting in shape. And back then, I started consuming healthy foods and I started paying attention to what I eat and what my body consumes. And over the years, I've gotten in shape, and over the years, I started consuming educational videos and I started reading books about different topics like philosophy, psychology, and especially stoicism. And it made me learn how a man should behave and how a man should react to different situations in different areas of his life. And I was also reading books about ways to make money, and I was also just trying a bunch of things that I was consuming, and I was just trying different things that I was reading about and I was watching videos about, like taking cold showers, meditating, working out. I just tried everything that I consumed. And I was just watching videos how to change up your whole life, and I discovered monk mode and I eventually tried it, and I just tried everything that came to my mind that I thought that would make my life better. And all my focus was just shifted into just learning and how I could eventually upgrade myself and how I could change myself so I can be superior to others. And I really had the urge to be better than people my age, and I'd like the fact and the idea that I would eventually become superior to others. And eventually, that's what I was doing all day. I was just sitting, training, and working. And I would just spend the whole entire day consuming content for 4 hours and training for 2 hours. There wasn't anything serious going on in my life, except that I was just consuming content and I had the hope of changing my life for the better. And I really think that just consuming content truly gave me an idea of how the real world works. But the thing was that those influencers and the people that were making these videos, even though they were giving me some motivation and they were explaining that how a young man should be and how you should be working hard, they made me and they tricked us into believing that everything in life was easy. The young version of myself 2 years ago thought that everything in life was easy and that I could achieve everything that I wanted in a matter of months, and it made me think that I can do everything at once. And I really liked the energy that it gave me, and I started thinking to myself that the goals that I wanted to achieve were actually easy and they wouldn't take long enough so I can achieve them. And I thought that I could become a millionaire in just 2 or 3 months, because back then my main goals were to build an amazing physique and to have a fuck ton of money that would get me retired over the years, and I would just eventually escape university and I wouldn't have to attend. And I wanted to have a full-time job to provide for the expenses of my own life. And at the same time, I wanted to have a side hustle that will help me and that will get me even more money. And back then, my younger self that was consuming all this video and that was just reading about stoicism and about discipline and motivation, and I was reading about how you should be relentless and how you shouldn't have a single second to waste. And I thought that I could easily carry out all those duties in my day every single day. And I had the idea that I can go to university and at the same time I can work out and I can have a side hustle, and at the same time I could have a full-time job to make some money. And I believed that I could do all those tasks with perfection. And maybe the strategy that I had in mind was I believed that I could eventually wake up at 5 a.m. like David Goggins would, and I would instantly jump into working out for 2 hours straight, and when I'm done I would instantly go to university and to attend it until it was 2 p.m. And at 2 p.m. I would have time to study and to work on my side hustle and do all those tasks combined for 3 hours, and then I could go to work and I would complete a 6 to 8 hour shift. And somehow I would come home at 1 a.m. in the morning and I would have to wake up the next day at 5 a.m. with little to 3 to 4 hours of sleep, and I would repeat the same process over and over again. And I really thought that I could do it, and I really thought that I was invincible. But now that the time have gotten here, I realized that I'm doing all the things at once, but I am not doing them with perfection. But now that I'm currently facing reality and I'm seeing how the real world works, and I figured what needs to be done in order to achieve my goals. So as of right now, the main goal is to make some money, because I already have a nice body and I already had enough of reading books all day and meditating and consuming content and taking cold showers, and I had enough of all this discipline stuff that I was doing. So the conclusion I've come to is I want to progress fast in a certain field. And in order to do that, I must sacrifice some kind of activity that I'm making right now in order to quickly advance in a certain field which I must focus on. And I realized that I can't carry out 3 different goals in my mind and focus on them at once, because in reality, the human body and brain can handle different things at once, and I can't climb out a hill carrying 3 different rocks on my shoulders. But instead, the best option for me is to carry one rock and making sure this rock gets up with me on top of the hill. And by that, I mean that the conclusion that I've come to, if I want to get better at making money, then I would have to sacrifice other goals that I had in mind, or I have to sacrifice working out and other activities that I do in a day. And I want to do that in order to just focus on my priority, because right now my day is shaped in this form. Currently, I wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning and I go to university, and when I come back, it's 2 p.m. and I try to work as hard as I can on my side hustle and on YouTube and on the things that I'm doing, but my body would be just so drained out of sleep. So most of the time, when I come back from university and it's 2 a.m., my body instantly tells me to go to sleep, and I just forget everything and I jump instantly to bed. And I take a nap for an hour or two, and when I wake up, I instantly go to my full-time job and I work a 6 to 8 hour shift. And when I come back from my work, when it's 12 or 1 a.m. in the morning, I only get 4 hours of sleep, so I can repeat the next cycle the next morning. And I would be surviving the whole entire day just out of 4 hours of sleep. And as of right now, and while I was writing the script of this video, it was 2:40 a.m. in the morning, and I needed to wake up at 6 in the morning. But I'm trying as much as I can to keep these videos up and running, and I'm trying as hard as I can to hit the goals that I want to achieve. But I'm trying as much as I can to keep these videos up and running, and I'm doing it for my own self, and I'm testing myself and my capabilities. But the thing that is helping me the most is off days for work and university, because when I don't have neither work or university, then I can just specify that time in order to work on my side hustle, and in order to write the scripts for my YouTube videos, and to maybe record videos if I was free. And I can just specify the whole day for pure research. But I try as much as I can to avoid working out in these days, and I try as hard as I can to avoid sleeping and napping the whole day. Because first, when the day comes and I don't have neither work or university, and when I finally have some free time to work on my business and on my side hustle and on making money, then my body would just be so drained out of sleep, and I would just come back home and I would sleep the whole entire day for 14 hours. To catch up for the sleep loss the whole entire week, and to catch up for the lack of sleep that's been building up. And secondly, I avoid working out because I know that working out will take 3 hours of my day, and I can use these 3 hours in order to make more money, and I can use these 3 hours to work on my priority and on my main goal. But at the same time, I'm sad to see that my physical body is getting weaker and weaker, because I'm not working out like I used to, and I'm not working out 6 days a week like I used to. But I have to stop working out because that's a sacrifice that will get me towards my goal. So right now, what I plan to do is to save up some money from my day-to-day job and use that money in order to invest into future businesses that will get me out of this 9-to-5 life. Because if I don't have money saved up, that means that I don't have leverage, and I don't have a foundation that I can build myself off to. But also, the work that I'm doing is taking so much time out of my day, and it's taking so much effort and energy, and it's draining the fuck out of my life, and it's draining the fuck out of my life, and it's only giving me a small tiny reward. So if I want to calculate it, 90% of my stress and problems are coming from this work, because not only I am working 15-hour days on weekends, but I'm also getting paid like $1 an hour, and $1 an hour won't help me to save up the amount of money that I have in mind, because I'm working like a slave with little to no money earned, because last month I worked 280 hours and I only made about $300. And in order to work 280 hours in 1 month, you need to work about 11 hours every single day. But yeah, in case I wasn't in Lebanon and I worked in some place at any country that wasn't Lebanon, and I was getting paid about $12 to $13 an hour, then if I worked 280 hours, I would be making about $4,000 a month instead of $300. And making $4,000 a month instead of $300. So as of right now, what I think the best move to do is either quit my job so I can just purely work on what I have in mind, and I can just work with the money that I have saved up, or I need to lower the amount of hours that I'm working at so I can also focus on my side hustle. Because working at my side hustles, like different various businesses, will get me way more rewards in the long run than my $1 an hour job. And quitting my job first will let me focus, and it will let me have more time to spend on working out and on my university and to study, because I will be sleeping more and I would have more time to take care of my physical body. But at the same time, if I quit my job as of right now, then I wouldn't have a source of income that's coming in. So I think the best thing to do is to just work some kind of job for the next 2 to 3 months until I have some kind of a good amount of money saved up, and then maybe I'll use that money, and maybe then I'll quit my job and I'll just use that money in order to try and to make some business succeed and to make me quit this fucked up life that I'm living right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. I'm a bit sick as of right now. That's why words aren't coming out of my throat. I just wanted to try this different topic in my videos, which is a documentary of my own life. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope that this video was entertaining in some way. Remember, brothers, always take action. Peace.